So last night, the Packers won 27-18 against the Washington Commanders on Thursday Night Football. Overall, the score, in my opinion, does not tell the story. It was pretty dominating by the Packers. Eventually, DC did score some garbage time touchdowns. But really, the main story is the Packers defense. The Packers defense just looked so good last night, and they looked so good the week before. And it had me thinking, is this Packers defense potentially the best defense in the NFL this year? Now again, this defense is playing very well, but we have to, of course, state it's week 2. They played a Lions team that is banged up on the O-line. They're without Ben Johnson. They were also on the road. And you're playing a team that was, last night dealing with a lot of hype going into this season. A quarterback that is now in his sophomore season, which usually for quarterbacks, they tend to regress if they did very well in their rookie season. And they have some new pieces as well. I mean, Terry really has been out for majority of the offseason. He just kind of came back a couple weeks ago after signing that deal. Deebo Samuel is still pretty new into the system in the grand scheme of things. So take this with a grain of salt. But when you look at the Packers defense, just from what we've seen the last 2 weeks, now with the addition of Micah Parsons, it's hard not to say that they aren't one of the best defenses in the NFL. Now, it's going off of the idea of last year. The Packers were already a top 10 defense in the NFL. They were actually the 8th best defense in the NFL last year. And I said in my video with Micah Parsons, I think that they're going to be one of the best units in the NFL because you're already, again, you're a top 8 defense in the NFL, and you're adding arguably the best pass rusher in the league other than Myles Garrett to that defense. And he is improving the biggest weakness of that defense, which was the pass rush. That was the biggest problem for the Packers last year, was they had an overall very solid squad. You could see it. But when things really got serious against some of these good teams like Detroit, like Philadelphia, even against Minnesota, they would get picked apart because that pass rush just did not have enough to get to the quarterback, and it just wasn't enough. So I think right now, and we're seeing it with the addition of Micah Parsons, things are really looking better, and you're seeing that the pass rush is increasing. And overall, if you watch football, when the pass rush increases and gets better, the entire defense benefits. You can only cover for so long, even if you have the best linebackers and corner safeties out there. If your pass rush is just not getting to the quarterback, you're still going to get picked apart. So I think this is going a long way for Green Bay. And now let's jump into the statistics for this, because some of these statistics are pretty wild. And just seeing how much that defense dominated Washington last night, just pretty crazy to see. So last night, Washington's defense was 5 for 16 on third down, 230 total yards, 3.6 yards per play, only 179 passing yards, 51 rushing yards, and 4 sacks allowed to Jayden Daniels. Now again, I said it as well earlier, a lot of this offense for Washington last night was in garbage time. It was in garbage time where these teams were kind of trying to get back into the game. Green Bay was kind of playing a little bit softer. There was a lot more checkdowns at the end. It really shouldn't have even been the number it is, and the number it is still 230 total yards. Not good enough, but still, if you take out garbage time, the numbers just look insane, but we're still basing it off of everything. Regardless, in total time, 230 yards for a defense allowed in the modern NFL in 2025 is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and again, we'll have to see how this offense is, throughout the next couple of weeks. We're still figuring it out, but on paper, this Commanders offense should be pretty good. So to see them get locked down that bad, it was just pretty crazy to see. And I stated with that pass rush, it was doing its thing. In total, 6 guys were involved, even though it was only 4 sacks. It was actually 6 players. 2 guys got sacks themselves, and then 4 guys had half sacks. So in total, numerous guys were getting involved with this game and just getting involved with attacking the quarterback yesterday. And I love seeing that from a defense. And when I look at the defense for Green Bay, it looks like they have the pieces on all parts of it. Again, the defensive line, they got a bunch of guys there. I really like what they got going on with the linebackers, both with Walker and Cooper. I'm becoming a huge fan of Cooper. Maybe it's because I have him in fantasy in a couple of leagues, but he really is standing out to me. He's a very good player, very on the ball, quick, and he can rush the passer as well. And then when you look at the secondary, I'm not going to say any of these corners are fantastic, but what I saw last night is they were playing really physical ball. They were getting their hands all over McLaurin or all over Deebo, and they really were not allowing much separation for the receivers last night for Washington. And then you got McKinney back there as well at safety. I just think this is a very, very, very balanced defense. And again, it all comes back to Micah Parsons. You put an elite pass rusher with this defense, you see what they can do. It just looks so good. And again, it's 2 weeks. I'm not trying to overreact, but it's just very hard for me to at least to look at with my own eyes that this is not one of the best defenses in the NFL. It's just what I'm seeing, and I'll stick with it until, they prove me wrong. But I just don't see how they aren't one of the best. Now, when we look at across the rest of the league, we'll have to see how things go. I still have Philadelphia's defense up there, especially because, again, with context, they didn't play the game with Jalen Carter because he decided to spit on Dak Prescott. So we don't even know what this Eagles defense actually looks like with Jalen Carter. I do have concerns about their cornerback too, though. That is a real concern. I will not downplay that as a Philadelphia fan. I think that's an issue. We'll see. Does that continue to get exploited throughout the next couple of weeks? I don't know. But the Eagles also just added Zadarius Smith. We'll see how he does on the edge. I think that's another guy that people are going to have to worry about if he hits the ceiling with the Eagles. And then, of course, the 49ers still have a solid defense, in my opinion. They got that with Robert Saleh. And as well with Denver. Denver has a great defense, and they played pretty well, in my opinion, last week against Tennessee. Really, their offense let them down. So I think there's a lot of good units in this league. I mean, we even saw a couple other teams as well play pretty decently. But again, it's week one. It's week one, and now it's only week two. And we haven't even seen people playing week two. So that's why I'm like, okay, take all this with a grain of salt. Take all this with a grain of salt. I'm just going off of what I've seen right now in the NFL. But at the same time, again, going back to Green Bay, it's just hard to look at this defense and just be like, this is not going to be a legit defense down the stretch. I don't see how people can say that, and they just look so good. Again, I don't know if they're going to be the best defense in the NFL, but they definitely have a chance to. I mean, again, this, especially for Philadelphia, the cornerback too for the Eagles is such a concern for me right now as a fan, and that's not something you can really say for Green Bay. So again, we'll see how this all goes, but let me know down in the comments, do you think Green Bay is the best defense in the NFL, or do you still have Philadelphia? Do you have another team? Do you have Denver? Let me know, because I'm very curious to see what people are saying. I think a lot of people, including me, are sipping the Kool-Aid a little bit from last night, but let me know what you think about, who is your number one defense right now, at least heading into week 2. Here's some other cool stats that I wanted to just point out that I saw on Twitter. I thought they were pretty cool. I was like, wow. Again, this is only continuing to kind of add to the Packers' allure right now with their defense. This is the first time that the Packers have held 2 opponents to under 250 yards to open the season since '95. That's obviously very impressive. And another stat that I found pretty cool was the 2025 Packers, are now 1 out of 5 teams since 2000 to have the lowest rate of explosive plays allowed by a defense. The Packers are only allowing 3.8 explosive plays throughout this entire season. To me, that's pretty crazy. And again, you saw last night. When did Washington have an explosive play? When did Detroit have an explosive play? It was a lot of dink and dunk, and a lot of it was at the end of the game when, Green Bay's kind of giving a little bit more cushion, kind of laying off a little bit. We'll see again how all this goes long term, but when you're limiting explosive plays, you're getting to the quarterback, it's just a recipe for success. And this is the last thing I'm going to say about this defense for today, at least. They all did this without an interception or a fumble as well. They stopped DC on a 4th down. But still, this was all without even forcing a real turnover. Just so impressive to me. Just some quick thoughts on the DC offense. They looked a little out of sync to me yesterday. Penalties were kind of getting to them, especially their tackles, a couple false starts. I also thought their tackles were getting beat a little bit. Now, of course, going against Micah Parsons, that is a tough one. But they were getting beat. Again, the receivers were struggling with separation. And I think one of the things that really kept them in check last night was the Green Bay defense did a great job of either sacking Jayden Daniels or keeping him in the pocket or tackling him right when he got out of the pocket. He did not have a lot of big runs last night. I mean, again, they had 51 rushing yards in total. Jayden Daniels, he might go over that in a game usually. So, again, a ton of credit to the Packers. I just thought they did a phenomenal job last night against, especially, in my opinion, one of the better offenses in the NFL. So again, credit to them. Great job for them. And a quick touch on the Packers offense as well. I wouldn't say it was perfect. They definitely had some missed opportunities, but I still think when the moment mattered most, they got it done. The standout player for me was by far Tucker Kraft. On 6 receptions, he had 124 yards and a touchdown as well. So he had a really, really big night last night. And I thought Jordan Love had a decent night as well. He did miss some key throws in my opinion. Some were really some layups, but still he got the job done. 19 for 31, 292 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. I mean, it's not the worst night. Still getting it done. So overall, the Packers offense did what they had to do, and that's really what they had to do. When you have a defense that is shutting down the opponent that bad, and you're at home as well, it's really just like, okay, let's capitalize on these drives. Let's get points when we can get them. Do what we got to do. Don't turn the football over, and you're going to win the football game. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. Overall, the Packers look like real threats. It's the same thoughts that I had at the end of the Detroit game. I talked about more Detroit in that video, but they just look really good. They look really good. They're going to be going on a stretch now where they're not going to have a ton of home games. So I'm going to see, how does this team play on the road? Are they more of a home team? Is this sustainable? We'll see. They did lose one receiver yesterday with Jayden Reed, but of course they still have a couple other options as well. All I'm saying is the Packers look really good. But again, pump the brakes. We'll see. Is this defense actually this elite? Are they this good? But in my opinion, at least early on, they look like one of the better teams in the NFC for sure. And that's all I have on this one. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like. Like I said, let me know what you think. Are the Packers the best defense in the NFL? Do you have another defense? Drop those thoughts down below in the comments. I will be reading them and responding. And if you like my type of content, feel free to subscribe. We're going to be continuing to break down the NFL this season. And I have some more short-term content from my TikTok, and that will be in the description. So check that out down below. See you guys on the next one. Peace, guys.